All right, thanks, Rachel. I want to bring our panel back in. Lots to talk about this morning. White House correspondent Emerald Robinson with us, Republican strategist and attorney Amanda Mackey, political analyst Mark Halperin, and Project 21 National Advisory Board member Christopher Arps. I'm going to play a Jimmy. I'm going to play you a Jimmy Kimmel soundbite right now, but this, of course, is talking about Andrew Cuomo and not what we just heard. Take a listen.
A year ago, everyone was in love with Andrew Cuomo, like literally in love. Even the items available on Etsy have changed. They went from future Mrs. Cuomo, St. Andrew Cuomo, I'm a Cuomo-sexual, I'm watching Cuomo the mug, to now they are arrest Cuomo, Andrew the grandma slayer, impeach Cuomo, and wipe your feet here.
All right, so here we go. And Andrew Cuomo, this guy people just absolutely adored him in the spring, and the wheels have just come off the wagon. Mark, do you expect, I mean, the guy's got such an ego. I don't expect this to happen, but is there any chance that Andrew Cuomo is sort of forced to resign because of the pressure?
Oh, Rob, I think there's a good chance. There's a new Emerson poll out showing his approval rating down below 40, which is much lower than it's been. And even people who are supportive of Andrew Cuomo in Democratic politics recognize he's in a pretty tough situation. Unless he can talk to the public about COVID, about schools, about the budget, he can't govern the state. And he's been missing because of these serious allegations, very credible allegations in the view of most people who've looked at them. He can't govern. So he's going to have to find a way to govern, or I think he will have to resign.
Yeah, and Chris, I think it's interesting. Andrew Cuomo was very fast to tell other lawmakers that were accused of sexual harassment to resign. So it's, you know, it's pot calling the kettle at this point. He doesn't seem to be taking his own advice.
Yeah. To digress just a second to the Dr. Seuss story.
Sure.
We had a St. Louis County councilwoman, very progressive. She took the oath of office on a Dr. Seuss book last year. So I don't know what that means, but
well, and hey, by the way, people forget this. You know, Barack Obama it was his first term. He said everyone should read Dr. Seuss books. There was a specific book, I can't remember which one, but you know, he said it had a big impact on his childhood and upbringing for whatever that's worth.
Yeah. Well, there's a picture of Michelle Obama floating around with Dr. Seuss characters around her at a reading day event.
Yeah.
From years ago.
Right. Yeah, probably on a Dr. Seuss Read Across America Day, like yesterday. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, back to Andrew Cuomo, Chris. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I hate to keep referring back to Missouri, but you know, as I said last week, we had a Missouri governor that resigned a couple of years ago from a sex scandal. I don't see Andrew Cuomo surviving this scandal. What's ironic to me is that he seemed to have been surviving the nursing home COVID scandal, but when it came to the allegations of sexual harassment, that seems to be the allegations that are going to bring him down. There's been 3 women so far. I think it's going to be a slow drip, drip, drip of women coming out until he is probably forced to resign.
Yeah, Chris, I know you, by the way, I know you've got a very popular radio show in the Midwest. Eric Greitens, that's what you're talking about, right?
Yes, sir. Eric Greitens.
I think he hosts a radio show now. And wouldn't that just be great if Andrew Cuomo was hosting a radio show in like Schenectady?
He's a TV show too.
A year from now. Does he really? Yeah. I think I've seen that. Everyone loved Eric Greitens at one point, but now he's he was canceled quick. So Amanda, here's let me give you some greatest hits here. Andrew Cuomo, and you know, I heard yesterday the folks on the left were calling this locker room talk. You know, because Andrew Cuomo said, sorry if my comments were misinterpreted. They're supposed to be playful. But he asked, and these are the 3 aides that are now accusing him of harassment. Can I kiss you? Have you ever played strip poker? Have you ever slept with older men? How old are men that you typically date? And we were talking about this yesterday, Amanda. It just seems like this is something that like a creepy old man would say.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've been in politics for over 20 years, and as a woman, you get stuff like this. Unfortunately, and it's a disgrace, and he is a disgrace. It's sad, though, that you aren't seeing the normal champions for women's rights and victims coming out to say, this guy's got to go. Right. I've mentioned this before. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, she ousted one of her colleagues in the Senate, Al Franken, because of this very behavior. Hillary Clinton, I mean, where are these people to talk about what he's doing and how wrong it is? She called, when it happened to her husband, it was a vast right-wing conspiracy. These are the enablers in the party that are allowing these monsters to do this, and they're not going after them. It's really a shame. And it's so hypocritical that Democrats do this and protect their own. But if this were a conservative, they would have been acting very differently. They would have already been calling for his resignation. Only one Democrat has called for his resignation, Congresswoman Rice.
Yeah, let me play a Chuck Schumer, by the way. He's finally weighing in, the most powerful Democrat, certainly in New York and in the U.S. Senate as well. But here's Chuck Schumer talking about the Cuomo investigation.
The allegations that have been made by Ms. Rush and Ms. Boylan and Ms. Bennett are serious, very troubling. These women have to be listened to. I've always believed that sexual harassment is not acceptable, must not be tolerated.
All right, Emerald, your thoughts. Nothing definitive there, but, he certainly is not for the governor.
They're tap dancing around it,
Yeah.
And I'll say, adding to the list that we were just talking about of women not weighing in, Vice President Kamala Harris, who has been very outspoken in other cases, especially in the Kavanaugh hearings, is missing in action on this one. And I just want to re-up what Chris said about Cuomo. The fact that the nursing home debacle is not what got him is kind of startling. That resulted in death.
Yeah, totally agree.
Deaths.
Totally agree.
And that it takes this is just...
So, Mark, everyone, a sex scandal is a lot juicier, especially for tabloids and TV news. 2 points, and then I want to get your reaction. Chris Cuomo said, hey, I can't cover him. He's my brother. Andrew Cuomo was on with Chris 9 times, 9 appearances, one with that giant stupid Q-tip, and they were, he was the love gov. Chris called him that. Again, stupid. And now all of a sudden, that was when times were good, the good old days last spring.
Yeah.
But now times aren't so good, and all of a sudden Jeff Zucker says, Chris, we can't have you covering because it's a conflict of interest. A terrible look. CNN should have invited Andrew Cuomo on and then said, you know what, we asked him on and he said no. Or have him on if he said yes.
Yeah. Well, look, on the nursing home thing, as serious and important as the sexual harassment allegations are, Governor Cuomo was being damaged in New York by the nursing home controversy, not just his initial actions, but his attempts to cover it up. So I do think that is part of why New Yorkers are starting to turn on him. I think the best tweet I saw yesterday on the Chris Cuomo thing was someone who said, we all learned in journalism school that it's okay to have your brother on when things are going good, but okay not to have him on when things are going bad.
Yeah, they teach you, that's at Syracuse, at Newhouse, they'll teach you that. there.
Yeah.
That's the first
University
day.
of Missouri, all the best journalism schools.
Right.
That's on the first.
Neither of which
the first
accepted
course.
me, by the way. Chris, go ahead. Final thought.
The subtle change in the language of Chuck Schumer, where he said,
hold on 1 second. Amanda
began an investigation of him. So I think the wheels were coming off back then, and then the more fuel to the fire were the sexual harassment allegations.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Chris, final thought.
No, I'm saying, did you notice the change in language by Chuck Schumer when he said all women should be listened to, when last year it should be all women should be believed?
Right.
I think that they noticed.
Yeah, subtle change of words there can make a huge difference. Panel, we'll pick this up again at the top of the hour. Really enjoyed the conversation. Thank you.